tell with her, right? Like she never wears it. But just a little bit more focus, a little bit more bounce in her step. I thought maybe she looked a little fatigued in that Washington game too. But a little bit more bounce in her step and really demanding the basketball. And she's got to do that for us. We don't always see her when we should. So her making it obvious is really important. And I think she's been doing that. Certainly we want to have home court advantage. And I think, for us, still staying in that 2 seed is important. I think every time that we step out on the floor, certainly we're playing to continue to work towards playing our best basketball when the playoffs get here, but also, maintaining seeding is important for us. And, the 2 seed is where we've been and we got to stay locked in and try to hold it.
Emily.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she's playing out of this world. She's playing great basketball. She's been playing, she's been the best player in the world all season long, right? I mean, she's just dominated. She's been efficient in that domination. She plays a lot of heavy minutes on both, and she plays them hard on both ends of the floor, and she's still been able to consistently put up just crazy numbers. For us, it's trying to make it difficult, and knowing how she's playing and knowing that it's that much more difficult to contain her. I mean, you're not going to stop her, right? To contain her, we've got to lock in on everybody else. If Asia's going to go off, we got to make sure that we're locked in on everybody else. We got to keep them, under averages. We've got to make their lives difficult. We can't over rotate. We can't send multiple people and give up wide open threes. We've got to make sure that we're locked in and disciplined, guarding our yard and playing 2-2 into 2-man. And it's just making them work for it and making her work for it.
Brendan, then Tarika.
A lot of times when you get ready for a game, you think matchup personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Bree Jones, though, coming off those 2 Seattle games, seems you pretty. How do you keep that going?
I think just making it a point of emphasis to keep trying to get her touches. It's just every time out, like Bree's got to get a touch down the floor. We got to make sure we're giving her a touch, and we've got to give it to her in different ways. There are certain teams where we might be able to just make a post entry pass and she can go to work. There are other teams where we've got to get her a little bit more off the move. And we got to try to make her life a little bit easier. I think this is a time, depending upon her matchup, depending upon who's guarding her, we've got to go at them early, and we've got to get her touches early, and we've got to establish her early. I think the other thing is she's knocking them down. She's making them. She's making them with contact. She's getting opportunities at the free throw line. She's playing with a lot of confidence, and when you have that extra bounce in your step, that confidence, you demand the ball a little bit more too. Yeah, I think every time you hit September, there is a sense of urgency, right? You're heading towards the postseason, final stretches of the year. But I think more for Breezy, she just was disappointed with herself. She'd had a few games where she hadn't shots hadn't fallen for her, or been in foul trouble, or not gotten rebounds, or all that. Might have been just in a little bit of funk, and I think her. You can never really tell with her, right? Like she never wears it. But just a little bit more focus, a little bit more bounce in her step. I thought maybe she looked a little fatigued in that Washington game too. But a little bit more bounce in her step and really demanding the basketball. And she's got to do that for us. We don't always see her when we should. So her making it obvious is really important. And I think she's been doing that. No worries. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think having just watched her from the outside looking in, oftentimes it's like, how does she keep doing what she does? Given her physical limitations with her injuries, being undersized, and the reality is she does it because her will is stronger than most people's, right? Like her will, her competitive fire, She plays her butt off like every single possession. She has an incredibly high IQ. She's as versatile of a player that, as I've seen, and just her ability to facilitate from that point forward position. Her ability to get to the rim. I'd like to see her shoot the ball a little bit more. I think she's passing up opportunities to take shots, whether they're at the rim or that 8 to 10 foot range. Especially given the way that people are guarding her now, like she's got to take those. She obviously can post up, but we also want to use her a little bit more as a facilitator in that post up position, because she does have the ability to really read defense. But I think more than anything, she's just an incredibly hungry competitor. She has a will to win that most people don't have, and it allows her to just keep evolving and continue to get better. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think first and foremost, I feel like we're a better team. I think we're even a better defensive team. It changed a little bit maybe how we want to match up. It changes more how we want to attack offensively, the things that we want to do to try to get ourselves looks on the offensive end of the floor, some of the different ways that they're playing, some of the different combinations they've been playing. Look, this is a really good team. Like we're not going to stop them, right? I think for us, just like it always is, it's we got to hold them below their average. We got to make shots difficult, but we've got to be good. We've got to be great offensively, right? Like we've got to space the floor. We've got to be able to make the next pass. We got to get the ball moving. We've got to attack their mismatches and their switches. We got to read our rolls to the rim, and if they're open or if they're not, hit our shakeups. Like our reads have to be great, and we've got to score the basketball.
Brendan, then Emily.
From a basketball sense, what do you notice as far as the championship happens?
Number one, they're incredibly competitive. I mean, every single player. I think you see it in the intensity with how they warm up, how they go through, layup lines. You can tell it, right? You can tell it. There's just a different mentality. They're high IQ. They play really, really well together. They're unselfish. The ball moves. It finds the right person for the right shot at the right time. They've all gotten better. Kelsey Plum gotten better getting to the rim. Certainly Jackie Young gotten better from the 3-point line. Chelsea Gray's always been an elite passer, and she knows how to get to her spots and score. Asia continues to get better in her ability to create shots for herself, her range. Megan Gustafson coming in and giving them huge like looks, getting offensive rebounds, doing all the little things, all the hustle plays. Alicia Clark being able to knock down shots. Tip, getting to the rim. It's just that they're a team that keeps they're really elite players, keep adding something different. They keep getting better, and they have the championship mentality. Yeah, I don't like how it happened the last game where they all came in at the same time. Usually we kind of like to stagger that. The last game I felt like the starters were kind of rolling for a little bit, and then once we saw a little bit of fatigue, we put them all into three at the same time, and I didn't really like that. Certainly with Marina coming in, she could come in at any time and give us a shot maker, give us a facilitator. I like the way that V gets us into offense. I like the way that she runs the team. I like them playing together and being able to have a more facilitating guard, out there on the floor. Ty's a scoring point guard. And we need her to do that when she's out there. But V understands if she's got Marina and DB out there on the floor, or Nay and Marina out there on the floor. Also encouraging Marina to bring the ball off the floor a little bit more. Be a little bit more versatile from that standpoint. And Liv, sometimes that's matchup driven with Liv, and sometimes it's kind of how Breezy's feeling. I thought that there were a few games there where Liv was just really active on both ends of the floor, and that's what we're going to need from her. But we got to run different things when she's in there than when Breezy's in there. And so recognizing that, having a core group that plays with that second unit that can recognize that is going to be important.
Thank you.
Thank you.